come inside.
I don't want to mourn. Florian murdered Griffin, and now he's disappeared again. It's not fair. I want the Atreides to suffer like we have. But I can't because they're making me go away to Wallach 9.
I am so bored. It's time to start looking at porn. Howdy all, I'm Adam the Renaissance Nerd, and welcome back, I guess, to my review of Dune Prophecy. We're on episode 3, and I was not lying in the intro. I was so bored, I started looking up porn on the other screen. That's how boring this show is. 1 hour of butchered backstory. That is the takeaway today. An hour long of butchered backstory. So what we're going to do here is this. I'm going to remind you now, the show is poorly written, poorly acted, in this case, very poorly acted by the younger versions of Valia and Tula. And production value looks like shit. And the story is just rambling. It's rambling for no reason. They think they're empowering these two characters by showing us their tragic backstories. No, you're just making us hate them more. And at the same time, when it comes to Tula, you're making her a worse character than she actually was in the books. We'll get to that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you what the show did, and then I'm going to tell you the actual version, because I didn't think I was going to be doing another "this is where they get it wrong" review, but that's what today is. And we're going to go through it pretty quickly, because guess what? It's long, drawn-out sequences, bloated again for another hour, with very little actual shit happening. Okay, we'll go to Valia first, then Tula. In this version, Valia is hated by her family. The Harkonnens have been exiled to planet Lescaville, or whatever the hell it's called, where they're supposed to be the ones in charge of the whale fur harvesting. And this one, they're just the mayor, Father Harkonnen's just the mayor of Lescaville, or whatever hell it's called. She's hated by her family. Her mom hates her. Her brother loves her, but they are sort of in cahoots. He wants to go off. Griffin Harkonnen has a dream of becoming the representative of the planet, getting back to the Landsrat, and Tula doesn't have a plan yet. Oh, she doesn't have a plan yet. It's not until after Griffin dies, a sudden jump cut, Griffin is dead, when all we hear is killed by Vorian Atreides. We must now continue the blood feud with the Atreides. And now Tula's being thrown out and going off to join the Sisterhood. Cut to Valia. Valia. Now they're saying we don't want Tula corrupted by Valia's hatred. All we hear is from the family, bad Valia, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to how that's wrong in a minute. Anyway, then Valia's shipped off to the Sisterhood, and what happens there? She goes through her very rough training where everybody knows she's got a strong will. She's just got grit and determination, and Dorothea's being mean to her. And then here comes Raquella out of nowhere, even though Raquella is actually there the whole time. Raquella out of nowhere, suddenly, without any extra story details being shown in this show, Raquella decides to take Valia into her confidence and show her the secrets of the breeding program, which we'll discover later are the computers, AI computers being used. I know that's a bad thing, but they try to hide it until the end of the episode for a very retarded reason. And then we learn that Valia already knows the voice. Yes, Valia knows the voice, even though their backstory for how she learned it didn't happen that way. In this one, she learned to use the voice when her brother Griffin was drowning, and she commanded him to swim to shore, and a couple other times she used it. That's how she developed the voice in this show. And she uses it on Raquella when she comes to see her the first time, even though that's not how Raquella learned that she had the power of the voice in the book. Anywho, so Raquella takes her into her confidence, and she then tries to make Valia and Dorothea reconcile in a very weird fashion, even though, again, that's not how it happened. And it's time to take the agony. She's perfected her new drug to basically try and replicate what happened to her to make another Reverend Mother. And what happens is, as this does happen, well, it sort of happens this way. Dorothea originally takes the drugs and offers one to Valia in private, and Valia doesn't do it. But Dorothea does take it. Meanwhile, in this one, Valia is called a coward for not taking it and running away back to Lankerville, where she's going to now be yelled at by her family some more and use the voice to almost kill her mother. And then she'll take it, and then she'll take the agony drug and become a full-powered Reverend Mother with all the genetic memory of the matriarchy. And then she's going to go back, and we know what happens because I showed you the butcher stuff in review episode 1. Now, what happens to Tula? Tula gets caught up in Valya's madness. We discover that she and her backstory, meanwhile, all of Tula's stuff is built around her moaning and groaning. That little brown girl died in the last episode with the failed agony. So, or not died, she's in limbo, or they keep her on life support. Anyway, so Tula now has gone off to a random forest planet, and I'm going to tell you why that's wrong in a minute. And after a whole bunch of her being ingratiated to a group of people living off the land, we discover that the dude she's sort of in love with is an Atreides. It's an Atreides. And yes, Tula did go get involved with an Atreides. Problem is, after a very Game of Thrones-esque sex scene, another one of those stooped in here, she decides to, well, she didn't decide, she already decided to get close and murder her betrothed. Except, not just murder him, she killed everybody with poison. Killed everybody. And she held a little regret because she did love him. And Valya's like, good job. I love you for doing that. And that's kind of everything that happens. And at the very end of the episode, Tula is seen using the computers in the secret repository to keep little brown girl who failed the agony alive with spice. Okay? That's how you get the reveal the computers are down there. And meanwhile, Valya and one of the diverse acolytes go to see her nephew and her uncle, who are on Salus Secundus because she's been banned from the palace by the emperor. That's the episode, guys. That's the episode. Now, that's how the show did it. Here's what really happened. In the books, Tula and Griffin were already thick as thieves, and their family consists of essentially 4 people. Tula and Griffin in the first book. Valya and Griffin, Tula, their father, and their uncle. Now, Griffin and Valya are they're working together. They're the ones that want to work together to restore the Harkonnen name. Her family doesn't hate her. Griffin loves her. Tula loves her. Their father is indifferent. He's just happy to be roaming around, mayor of Vankerville. Their uncle, he's dead. He's not alive at all. He's dead. He died in a space-folding accident, lost in space, because Griffin was too cheap to use Venport Industries and their navigators. The uncle is dead. So the uncle in the show now, he shouldn't be there. Dead character. There you go. Now you understand how retarded this is. In the actual books, Griffin ended up hunting down Vorian Atreides on Arrakis, but only to get killed by 2 thinking machine, I guess you want to say living liquid metal type humanoid things. Basically, Vorian Atreides, his siblings who were created by Agamemnon in an experiment. They end up killing Griffin after he and Vorian had decided to end the feud. So it is true that Valya and Tula think that Vorian killed Griffin, but they don't bother in the show to tell you anything. It's just, Atreides bad. But here's the thing. Valya was already with the Sisterhood. And her being brought into Raquel's confidence was after years of being there. And Raquel brought her into the confidence about the breeding program. And then later on, sends her to do all kinds of cool shit. She goes up to be a sword master on Ginaz, to train to be a sword master, where she develops the voice there and uses it on her senior trainer, whatever. Then she has that power and doesn't first use it on Raquel until Raquel attempts a fake suicide in order to get Dorothea and Valya to mend fences later on. That's when the voice comes into play. So everything shown in this show is bullshit when it comes to Valya. And they even cut out the fact that she goes to be a swordmaster. They have cut that out. Just leave out a truly empowering choice of talent seeking by Valya to be nothing. And also, they spend so much retarded time about truth-saying. It's our calling into the truth-saying is just a job. It's not the calling of the Bene Gesserit. It's not how they do all this shit. They don't do everything to be truth-sayers. It's crap. It's crap. I've already explained that many times, but the show is obsessed with truth-saying for some goddamn reason. So that's Valya's real backstory that they showed in this. And she never tried to kill her mom with the voice. There was nothing about rescuing her brother from drowning with the voice. And it's all retarded. She was already in the sisterhood. Plain and simple. When Griffin died, she was doing other shit, not waiting on Lankerville for him to come home. As for Tula, they got one aspect right. But here's the thing. She was sent by Valya to kill Atreides, but she sent her to Caladan, the ancestral home of the Atreides, an ocean planet, not a forest planet. And she doesn't murder him after they become engaged. She murders him on their wedding night, and just him, not the entire village. She doesn't murder everybody. She just kills him. And yes, she did feel bad about it because she was sort of in love with him. And that's it. That's everything. It wouldn't have been hard to get this right, but they had to do this whole thing where Tula's in the village. She helps put a horse out of its misery because it got hurt, and she's showing her connecting with the people and this and that, but then murdering them. They made her worse than she was. Killing one person who she sort of loved, but she was more loyal to her sister, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good little story arc there. But making her a mass murderer and letting one little kid run away, that's not good storytelling. You made her worse than she was, and then having her sob over dead brown girl who died in the last episode, who now is on life support with an AI and spice being flooded into her. They're probably going to make her an abomination, which is, I don't even know. Either way, and then having, like I said, Valya go to visit her dead uncle. This show's a disaster, and we're done. We're done. I have nothing else to say. You can see how bad the show is. And if you want to go look at it, I know that it's not really the best thing, but it is great for a momentary snapshot as things begin. This thing's already rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. It's already putrid and stinking. Everybody's abandoning this. I'm just sticking it out because I've already started it. We only have a few episodes left. It's not going to go much longer. We might as well run it all the way through. I hope it gets run through. Good Lord. But here we go. So there you go. A backstory episode with butchered lore that is just bloated and boring once again. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed my ranting and ravings. I know I wasn't losing my shit today because it was just boring. I'd rather go look up porn. It's that simple. I'd rather be looking up porn. Porn's more fun. And anything's more fun than this. Anyway, we're done here. I guess I'll see you guys next week with episode 4. Until then, thank you. Hit the like button, subscribe, and take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.